This is a big rich town. I've just come from the poorest part. Bright light, city lights, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down. I just happen to come apart. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Power After Hours, your favorite power podcast. Jeff J on this side, Krissy Bree on the other side, and we're here to review Power Book 2 Ghost, Season 1, Episode 9, Monster. Krissy Bree, yesterday's birthday girl, what's up?
What's good, man? I feel good going into year 37.
Woo!
But I feel like Courtney Kemp and them definitely created last night's episode on my behalf. That's how I feel.
Did you feel like you got a good birthday gift?
I did. I'm actually blown away by the love they showed me through last night's episode. So, thank you, Courtney and the team over at Power,
So I guess that means that you enjoyed your time watching this episode.
How can you not? Like, if you're a fan of Power, how can you not?
Now they're hitting a stride going into the finale. So much so that you have people in disbelief that there's a season finale. They're like, yo, they just came back and we're about to be the end of the season. I'm like, well, they had to also take about a month off. So, ain't no more breaks. Ain't none of that. It's time to run.
We got more than 10 episodes in regular Power, but this is the first season. So I never expect like a 20 episode first season, but I feel like this is exactly what we need for a show like this. Like, I don't need 20. I don't even really need 12 episodes. I feel like they're giving us exactly what we need, going into number 10. So I'm satisfied. I'm excited because it tells me that there's room for more seasons.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, the first season of Power was 8 episodes, I believe.
Okay, yeah.
That first ever episode. And then they didn't get more than 2 episodes, more than 10 episodes until season 6, their final season. Okay. So I do think 10 episodes is a good speed for what they do in Power. It's just get in, do it, and get out. You don't need to stretch it out across multiple episodes, and then that's how you get a lot of filler episodes and connecting episodes. Like, we don't need that.
Ghost. Yeah.
Right. And even with that, right, they're building on a previous world that's still very much active in Ghost. So there's no real reason to stretch it out. And especially this is the first season of the spinoff. Yeah. You want to see how it goes. You want to see the type of stories that you can tell and the reception, all of that. So I'm down with it, but let's dive in. Let's dive into Monster. So this follows the themes earlier of the books that Tariq is reading in canonical studies. So they're talking about Frankenstein, where if you read Frankenstein in high school, or if you ever read Frankenstein, period, you know that there's a lot of racial undertones and allegories to racism. And the theme of the episode, and really the theme of these series, if you want to go to a high level, what makes you a monster? Yeah. What truly makes you a monster? Is it how others perceive you? It's others' actions, your environment, the fact that, the people just looked at Frankenstein and thought, oh, that's a monster, just because he didn't have their normal appearance, or what he didn't fit their standards of beauty. And that could inform how people act. And this is the type of debate that a lot of the characters have internally and externally within themselves. And this is the main thing that Tariq is fighting with, who has been fighting with this whole season. Am I my own man? Am I a product of my environment? Or was it inevitable for me to be? Am I irredeemable?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people, like you say, there's a lot of situations where you may have people that look at Tariq like he is the monster just off the strength of who they knew his father to be and what he's now doing and becoming. But I do love that at the core of who Tariq is, he truly doesn't believe he's a monster. He truly believes that he's not who his father was, because he's not doing the same things. He's not going out having people killed. And we got that situation in this episode where he had the opportunity to become that monster, and he chose the route that Ghost of season 6 chose. You know what I mean? And I found that to be really interesting, that's where it's almost like he's picking up where Ghost wanted to be. Like he's creating that life that Ghost wanted. And you kind of have to see all of, like, even through this episode, all of the relation to the original power, how it ties in to who Ghost was and what Tariq is becoming, how Tasha is dealing with the downfall of what not only Ghost did, but what Tariq has done as well. So I really love how they're able to tie in all these little pieces. But at the core of it, do I believe Tariq is a monster? No, I really don't think he's that guy. I think he's trying to create a better life. And I think he really just wants to get his mom out of jail. Like that's his underlining goal. He's doing what he has to do. But I think if you stay in too long, that's when you become the monster. I do believe that.
Right. And you know, the other thing is the characters on the show, some admit when they are who they are. Ghost, you see it. That's the relationship between Ghost being the protagonist, because it's like, yo, everybody's a criminal, right? But Ghost being the lead of power, and Tariq being the lead of Power Book 2 Ghost, right? Ghost always denied who he really was, because he thought that James St. Patrick could be his own man, when he didn't realize that Ghost was the man and James St. Patrick was the costume, right? So that was he didn't want to he embraced his monster side when it was convenient for him, when it served his purposes. But then when he tried to go legit, he kind of was in a delusion of himself, right? Whereas Tariq is literally gripping with this. We jumping around and whatnot. But that scene with Monet, where he knew what he was doing with that money, knew he was messing with Monet's money, knew what the consequences was. And for him, it was almost a martyrdom. Like he was looking to be a martyr, or it was a one-way trip mission. He knew what the consequences was, and he even told Monet, everyone I've come in contact with has gotten hurt. And this, and you got to think about it. This was one of the main reasons that people hated Tariq in Power.
We all hated him in Power. We hated Tariq.
Right. Not even so much that he was a bad kid, quote unquote, but Tommy said it. You know, they go through that montage where he's remembering everybody. Keisha, Tommy, Kanan, his dad, his mom, Raina, all these people. Right. It still hurts. And he says it. Everyone I've come in contact with is hurt. I don't deserve it. I need to accept what my fate is. And even Monet is like, wait, your father. Right. He's confessing. It's like he's confessing, similar to when Ghost was linking up with the pastor in season 6.
Very much so. He
confessed to the one person, probably in the series, who fully embraced who he was and who he is with Monet. He's like, I know the rules. Take me out of my misery, because I know with me out of the way, maybe my mom will finally be good. Maybe we'll finally be saved, right? And this is what he did. And yes, of course, it was short-sighted, because what's going to happen to the inheritance if you die, right? Like, you think about that. I'm sure they put in a clause or whatever. But what happens to that? What about the grief that you're going to cause your mom? And all those things. But to him, he had already convinced himself that he may not be a complete monster, but he's enough of a monster that he has to be removed from the board.
Yeah, he's got to be removed. And I think that's the saddest part about Tariq, right? Is that he knows all of the wrong he's done. He knows all the pain and the hurt that he's caused other people, to the point that he's willing to be released from that misery. He's tired of holding that weight, not being able to really discuss it with anybody. And when you hold all that stuff in, it comes out in various ways. So I feel really bad for his character. It's crazy how we went from really hating him in power to now wanting him to succeed and wanting him to do better. He made the best decision that he could make for him and his family at the time in terms of that money with Monet. And I do believe that now Monet in her head is like, wait a minute, did he kill his father? Like, that's running through her head, because he's like, wait a minute, are you confessing right here? And then what happened, so they don't have time to really go through it. But I do believe at the end of the day, Tariq has confessed to various people that now he, you know, when you look at the previews for what's coming in the finale, you realize he's up against that wall. All season, he's been saying, like, put me on the stand. Let me tell my truth. Let me confess. Let me do what I need to do to release this from me. But nobody is allowing him to do that. And that's tough when you're a kid. Like, you want to be honest, you want to be true, but nobody's letting you do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the way we're getting to that is probably not the way that he thought he wanted to get there, right. But we're there now. And one of the other things about power that I love is that eventually all the secrets start rolling out. Yeah. Everything starts rolling out, and the truth comes to light, right? And there's a lot of that in this episode. A lot of revelations, murder, betrayal, all these things that really make power what power is. Okay. But even going with that monster theme, right?
Yeah.
Talking about Cain.
Wow, that was the biggest theme.
Right. You think about it, it's not even so much Tariq. A lot of people have to come to that reckoning, and Cain is coming to that same reckoning too, because his whole stance has been, this is what our parents made us.
You made me this way, Monet. He's not even saying his dad made him that way. He's saying Monet made him that way. Right. You want him to be your right hand, and you want him to be the one that is the monster, essentially, so that no one fucks with your family. But when he turns into what you created him, you no longer want to deal with him. And that's fucked up. It is fucked up. I see Cain's side of why he's so upset at the family, because how can you essentially give me this life? You've trained me up to be this person, and the moment I fulfill that destiny, I'm trash to you because I've gone too far. Like, it's just, I get Cain's side of it, but I still can't fuck with the kid. He's gone too far for me. But,
right. Right. And when you look at it from the perspective of the two perspectives, Monet blames him for things that happen. And Cain is saying it's the monster you created. Yeah. So when the monster acts as a monster does, you're surprised. It's similar to that parable about it's like the snake and the turtle, or the snake and the fox, or one of those animals that let's say it's a fox or whatever. The fox puts the snake on his back, the rattlesnake on his back, and helps it across the river. And halfway into the trip, the snake bites the fox on the neck, and the fox is like, "The fuck? Why'd you do that?" And the snake is like, "I'm a snake, fam. Like, this is what I do." So, right? Why are you mad? I'm a snake. Like, what did you expect to happen? Thank you for the help, but I gotta do what I gotta do. And this is kind of what Cain is talking about. And I understand where Monet is coming from, because this chain of events that culminated in this episode 9, Cain had a hand in. First, with sending Brass to go kill Tariq. Yep. You're messing with their money. You're messing with the family's money, first of all, because that's how
not out of business, out of jealousy. You saw somebody coming in and moving product in a way that impressed your mom, something that you have not been able to truly do. And you're jealous of the fact that she's working with somebody else and giving someone else the time of day. It's not even that he he had a reason to go after Tariq. I don't even understand at the core why he is so hell-bent on killing Tariq, because it's not going to bring you back to your mother at this point. And he's so fucked up in the head that he truly believes that killing Tariq is going to bring his mom back to him. Bro, you are dead to her. When you are dead, you are dead. Like, ain't no coming back from that. But he's still got that childish mentality that still craves his mother's guidance. Like, that's the crazy part, is that he wants his mom. He wants to be with his mom so bad that he's willing to take out everybody in front of him to get there, not even realizing that what you want, you're never going to have. It's madness.
From his perspective, this is where Kane has that Tommy mentality. He sees Tariq selling drugs at Stansfield as a luxury they don't need in their business. We got the streets. Why do we need these bougie kids at college as customers? We're doing fine over here. Then you're bringing in another element. So, because remember, to Kane, this is some rich uppity black kid that goes to a privileged school and is probably dealing in these drugs as a game. Like, this is our life. This is a requirement, an obligation for our family. For Tariq, this is an option. He has this school paid for. He don't need this. This is fun, and it's funny because this is the same way people look at Braden. Why is Braden getting involved in a drug game when he's privileged, he's rich, and he don't really need it? Is it for the thrill, or is it for some other motive? And that's one of the things that Kane is looking at with Tariq. Plus, now what? This is your favorite child now because he's smart and he goes to school. This is your best. This is Monet's best of both worlds. A college-educated drug dealer.
Yeah.
And ironically, she don't want that for Drew.
She does not want that for Drew. And let me tell you, if I've ever been shocked by an episode as I was last night, it was a lot that fucking happened that I didn't expect to happen. Like, I was like, oh, what we doing here? Like, at every moment I was waiting for something to pop off. And it's crazy. She doesn't want Drew to go to school. And Drew desperately wants his life. Like, he was like, yo, why can't I make that decision? And it all falls back on Kane again. You know, Monet says, you're here because your brother put you here. His mistakes are the reason why you are now in charge, because we can't put him in charge. But at the end of the day, Monet never wanted Kane to run the business. We all know that. Kane was never built for it because he's too hot-headed. And you're seeing why right now someone like him is not fit to run an organization, because they're not leveled. Like, that was the one thing that I loved about Ghost, is before, like, he seemed to really know how to manage both sides. But if he didn't have so many moving pieces, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, or getting involved with Angie and then this whole government thing, like, I feel like he could have figured out how to become successful and do both sides. But I think that's going to be something Tariq ends up being able to do in time. But yeah, no, Kane is not fit for that shit at all.
Yeah. And in keeping with the monster theme, Drew knows who he is. And he knows he's not a drug dealer. He can do it. Drew is like every person who goes to college and gets a degree in one thing, but really wants to do another. And they get a job in their field because they can do it. And it's gonna afford them a good living and a good wage and a good salary. Yeah, I can do these things, but what I really want to do is that. And I want to pursue my dreams, but because of my family's situation, whatever that may be, I am not allowed the privilege to dream or the luxury to dream. I have to do what I'm good at. It's ill because I look at my career path and I say, I feel Drew, because I was Drew minus the murder and the drugs.
Thank you. Like, if you're the child of a Caribbean parent, or African parent, you know that your parents pressure you in some way. We need a doctor, we need a lawyer, we need this
nurse.
And you end up trying to. It's always one of them in the family.
It's the nurse. It's the nurse for me.
a pharmacist. Okay, we need a pharmacist.
If you ever want to piss off women from the diaspora, and when y'all all are talking and everybody's asking, what do you do? Just be like, yo, y'all are all nurses. Or if you're in college, oh, y'all going to school for nursing, right?
Right.
What?
Where's your residence? Like
even the nurses will be mad. Why'd you assume?
You know your family forced you into that shit. And you don't be happy. You're not happy, but your parents are happy and they can brag to their friends about you, but you unhappy as hell.
It's like we have 15 nurses in our family and the 16th is on its way.
We just gave birth to Johan last week.
You get them scrubs for Christmas.
It's crazy. Like we all know, and we laughing, but that shit is real.
That's a big fact.
At the table with one of us, that shit's very real.
That's a big fact. But yeah, you know, this is where we are with Kane, and Kane kind of accepts that. Even when he has that talk with Drew, you could tell he just has a one-track mentality that he can't. It takes something monumental for him to flip that switch and finally be able to see the larger picture. Even when they had the conversation with Drew, where Drew sees homeboy little Guap still alive, and he's like, why is this dude still breathing? Because he's loyal, and makes it a us or them. He's like, yo, this is our family. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, yo, if you're not with me, you against me. And then Monet, when he tells Monet is like, yo, why didn't you light up that whole room?
Light that shit up.
Right. And she's like, including Kane. And you know, she's following that code of the streets, right? Yeah. Where, yo, he's dead to us. That's what it is. Once he encroaches on our business, now he's an enemy, regardless of blood affiliation. And you could tell that whole situation still eats her up inside, because to your point, Kane is being prideful. He's being super prideful, because even when he realizes they about to put a hit on the family, when he gets the drugs and he's like, yo, this is our shit. Like, why? Tell a little Guap, like, why do you have our shit? Are you stealing from Monet? Like, you steal it from my family. Like, even though he's in competition with them, he's like, yo, you stealing from my family. Yeah. And he's like, nah, Rico gave it to me. They're connect. That was supposed to be meeting them that night. And then he quickly put two and two together, tried to call, and then drove over there, got there too late, got there after the attempted hit, and when Drew got hit. So I was
like, no, why would you get up and run when bullets are flying? My nigga, crawl.
He broke a black character rule, man. You know you don't run. You know you don't run. We run before, but once you're pinned down, you don't run.
You don't get up. You crawl out. Like, I was like, come on, Drew, for as smart as you are, that was the dumbest thing you could have ever done. I was so upset. But the good thing is I thought he was dead. Mm-hmm. I definitely thought he was dead. But we don't know how injured Drew is. Is he ever going to actually be able to fully recover from what's happened here? Right. And, you know, I thought that was going to be the switch flip for Kane. I thought that was really going to be it. But at the end of the day, Diane is now also livid with his ass. Like, because now they really believe that what Kane has done has caused this reaction.
Because he wasn't there.
He wasn't there. And, you know, it's crazy how Kane literally can do no right in this situation. He could have been there. Monet would have sent him away. Like, there's nothing he could have done that would have done him right in that situation right there.
Well, I think if he would have connected and been like, yo, ma, they da-da-da-da, he would have been tight, but that would have been, you know. And ironically, I think the switch did flip for Kane, but it flipped too little, too late. Too late. Because right or wrong, Monet does have a point. You not killing little Guap, you separating from the family and showing some type of external weakness. Yeah. You set these chain of events into motion that brought us here now. So now it's a wrap. And even when he was standing there with her, like, yo, you made me this way. You made me this way. Like, why are you acting like this? No. Now we're at the point of no return. And Kane does the one thing that one way or another you probably regret. He burns bridges. And he burns it in the worst way possible, by killing Detective Ramirez.
Ain't gonna be no coming back from that. That's the end, okay? Because Monet's gonna know he did it. She's gonna know. That's very clear. Kane is, I think he's like king of burning bridges at this point. Like, if anybody could get a plaque for how they burn bridges, it's Kane. He's doing a damn good job. And the crazy thing is, if he would just smarten up and figure out how to work with Tariq, the system could actually be fucking flawless.
Yeah.
If they would figure out how to work together and run the streets and run these colleges, nigga, that's it. That's the game.
Mm-hmm.
But he's too egotistical to take himself out of it. Like, he wants to be head dog in charge. And we've known that from like one of the very first episodes when he said to Monet, this is us, our business. And she was like, us who? Like, I run this shit. Like, it ain't both. Like, so he's been dealing with this from the beginning. We knew this was coming, where he was going to have to face the monster that he really is. We just didn't know how. And I don't think the monster that Monet has created in Kane is redeemable. I don't think he's going to be able to come back from the depth of what he's doing. We saw him chopping up bodies in this episode. Like, my dude, there's no coming back.
He was doing that. He was doing that from jump, though. That's the way they dispose all of the bodies. Like, that's just business.
Yeah.
Business
It's just
as usual.
But when you see Lil Guap looking at him, like, you get joy out of this. Like, he actually likes doing this shit. And someone like that is fucking crazy.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think he went to the point of no return when Ramirez broke it down and said, yo, she needs me more than ever now that you're gone. I don't care about, I never really cared about this Tariq kid. I'm straight. You the one that's got to go. And he tried to tell him, like, don't do this. It's the point of no return. Don't do this. He shot him with a cop's gun. Then, so now the streets are going to be completely hot because now a cop has been killed. And once Monet knows, because we don't know who else they have on the inside, right?
We only know
Ramirez. We don't know who else they have. But now you've completely ruined a beneficial relationship that your family had, a cover that your family had to do their business. So now,
who saved your ass multiple times, might I add,
right.
Kane.
Right.
Like, nobody cares about Tariq as much as Kane does. Nobody. Like, that's the question. These niggas is like, Tariq who? Like, this kid is in college. Nobody is going to believe you, my dude. No one. Like, cut the shit. But I was happy to see that we didn't get crazy Jabari in this episode. We didn't get stalker, following. Like, we finally got Jabari in just college settings. And no more. And I was very thankful for that because I'm tired of that nigga. Tired.
It's funny because he actually posted on his IG, like, y'all tell me in the comments why Jabari has to die. So he already knows.
You ain't shit. Like, don't get me wrong. I think his name is just McManus. I can't remember. Like, he's a good dude, but dog, every time somebody in power that's a good dude, sometimes you gotta go. You know what I mean? And your time is coming. You know what? I actually was leery. I thought Carrie's time was coming. Shit, I didn't think Carrie was gonna be on the list, but she on the list.
Justin Marcel McManus, that's his name, and I think I think that's his IG name too. For those of you who want to follow and follow him along and let him know why you think his character should die or whatever. But Carrie, you were right about that. Carrie's time was looking shaky because keeping with the other theme of this episode is how the truth is starting to be revealed to people, right? Last week, we saw that interaction with Carrie and Monet.
Yep.
And, Monet, if it's one thing we know about Monet, she knows everything. She records everything. She keeps everything in the back of her head just in case it pops back up. And then she can have a conversation about it, right? And say, okay, what the hell is going on here?
What's going on here?
Right. So now that they know the detectives are up there asking about the murder that happened on campus, telling Jabari and Carrie and all the faculty, hey, this is gang related. This is gang related. And then you get that conversation about, oh, so y'all want to just interview like the kids that may be the closest tied. So you want to interview all the black kids. You want to interview all the non-white kids because you think they're the ones who would have the closest connection to gang violence.
Shit, because I definitely heard them mention Benjamin Crump's name in this episode.
Oh yeah, that wasn't even them. That was Ott talking about Saxe. We gonna get to that. But
I love how like even that situation, you know, with Jabari, where he's like, "Listen, y'all haven't learned nothing from this summer. Like absolutely nothing. We got a black cop in here. Who? Let me shout out Laz Alonso. If anybody keeps a job, it's that dude.
Laz Alonso, stay working."
Everywhere, like every show, every movie is Laz Alonso somewhere. So I gotta respect the fact that it is a black cop in this situation, because usually we're dealing with that white cop, and so I love that even he is faced with the task of having to racial profile the black students at this prestigious college. And you've got the black, what is she, the dean, I assume?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, oh no, we wouldn't have that problem here. Like, oh, we don't? Oh, okay.
I mean, I wouldn't expect gang violence at Stansfield either, but it was cool. Shout out to Laz Alonso again. If y'all haven't seen The Boys, you should watch that too. He's phenomenal in that also. But so power is going to power at some point throughout the season. It's always going to power. So Carrie's a former prosecutor.
Which what?
Okay.
Mentioned and we missed it?
It was never mentioned. It was just casually, because she was saying, I am a former prosecutor, so blah, 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 and the fact that the detectives agreed to an anonymous, basically an anonymous tip line to be set up at the school to give information on that murder or anything else. I would have to talk to my friends in law enforcement and see if that's actually accurate. Knowing cops and knowing that it involves black people, I'd say no.
I call bullshit. That's just that. That's how we end it.
It's just a little shaky, but that was the way for her to have the connection to be able to help Zeke out, because Zeke finally tells Carrie about all of the GTG and all of that, but keeps the business, like the family aspect, out of it, because he knows enough to know, do not make it hot for Monet. So he tells Carrie to drop it.
She wasn't trying to help Zeke in the beginning, I feel like she actually was using Zeke to dig up more information to figure out, could it have been, like, she went from seeing that picture, right, to then looking up online who the Tejadas were, then to looking up who he killed. Then, like, it was like an investigation for her in some way. And then you got Jabari coming in, seeing the picture, seeing Drew in the picture, who he has seen interacting with Tariq. Mm-hmm. So all of these pieces are coming together, but they're separate. It's like a fucking puzzle being done by 10 different people. So you don't know who's going to be the one to put all the shit together. Right. So I feel like Carrie has gotten herself into a very precarious fucking situation. Mm. Like when you get that visit from somebody they flick the light on, bitch, you lucky you not dead. Because to me, that's death signals. I've seen many shows where when somebody clicked that light on, it's going to be your last conversation. Like, listen, she lucky to be alive at this point.
Listen, Monet is my favorite 80s villain of all time. Like, she walks in and she's sitting down. She's like, oh, Mr. Hada, like, well, what do you say? The fact that she kept that composure, she blew herself up. Because you know why Monet is there.
These are outside of my office hours. Bitch, sit your ass down.
No, I love what she said. I don't think this is appropriate. Appropriate? Yo, she was so tight, she couldn't even get the word out. She was so tight, she couldn't even get the word out, yo. Like, she was like, appropriate? Oh.
Like, fucking Zeke? Huh? Like that part?
And it was so real that Carrie made the business decision. She didn't even try to front. She was like,
How can you? I would be scared if Monet popped up in my shit. I'd be like, what you want, girl?
Well, that's the ultimate leverage Monet has. Because once again, how did the secret get revealed? Monet puts 2 and 2 together quickly. When when she asked Diana, hey, you know, there's something going on, we got to figure it out. And Diana was like, yeah, I went into Tariq's bag and I saw this thing and I thought it was part of whatever, but
you thought it was Tariq, but it was not Tariq. And
this is how Jabari got her fucked up, because his simp ass jealous ways put Carrie in the line of fire, and he don't even know. But that's what happens with a lot of characters on this show. You poke around where you're not supposed to poke around, and boom, you done.
And this whole time is thinking she's sleeping with Tariq. And I'm like, bruh, how would Tariq have time to be fucking with her? He don't even have time. Like, I don't even know how Tariq sleeps. Like, every once in a while, they'll show him wake up from a little nap. And I'm like, that must be all this nigga sleeps, because there's no way he's doing his homework, Zeke's homework, working for Monet, getting money for his mama, dealing with the attorneys. Like, my nigga, I can't even deal with a 4-year-old and my husband, okay? I'm stressed. I am stressed.
Right, they can't even deal with her, so how do you think that any of that would go on?
Jeff, this is what we're not going to do. You see, guys, I be trying to be good on this here podcast. I try not to front too much on Jeff, but okay. No, you got it.
I'm just saying it's a two-way street.
No, you got it, bro. You got it.
It's a two-way street.
No. And don't put this fucking clip up either, because let me tell you something. I'm gonna call your ass out. Don't you do it.
So that means I definitely got to put the clip up.
That clip goes up and it's going lit. It's going out. Let's do it, you ass. Listen, Jeff is the worst.
Wow.
Worst.
This is what we're doing?
He be late. Okay?
Oh, we're telling all the secrets? Hold on. This is the secret reveal? This is the secret reveal episode? Is this what we gonna do? Is this today? Today. Oh no! Now it's previously on Ghost. You're a mess. But speaking of telling the truth, Tariq finally tells Brayden the truth of everything, of what's up, and that's, to your point. You had said that a couple of weeks ago. He made a calculation, and this is the ghost in him, where you try to be too smart and didn't factor in, if you tell him everything, you could have a better ally. But now he's told Brayden everything about Riley, everything about Saxe, what it is, and even came clean to Effie, where he had that conversation with Effie about whether or not he thinks he's a monster, and everybody about
very deep if you break that down, because with Effie saying she realized she was a monster when she had to out him at Choke, you know, and she's like, the sooner you realize that you are one, the better off you'll be. And I think that moment was pivotal for Tariq, because he's like, wait a minute, am I a fucking monster, or do I have to become that monster, you know, with this task that his mom gave him, essentially to handle Dr. Epiphany.
Oh, we're gonna get to Dr. Epiphany Turner.
What the fuck? I love when she was like, a doctor?
Yo, listen. Like, we gonna get to that. Make the point about what you were gonna say about Effie, because we gonna get to her.
I think that with Tariq, he was very confused. Like, he didn't know, he doesn't exactly know what makes him that monster. Would it be killing somebody, or would it be the fact that he's already killed somebody? You know, essentially, he killed his dad. He also got his sister killed. Let's be very clear here. 100%. So what exactly is it that would make Tariq a monster, or what is he running from to continue being that monster if he's already said monster? Is it him confessing to the murder of his father that would alleviate or make him feel like he's not the monster that everyone seems to think that he may be? Like, what is it that's going to make that truth be revealed? A lot of people look at him as a spoiled Black rich kid who's in a rich college, living a good life, has no worries. But deep down, Tariq knows that's not him. So the theory of him being a monster, I think, is something that we're going to deal with throughout this whole series, because we don't know. Tariq does not know what makes him a monster yet. He doesn't know where he's at with that. And that's tough.
Yeah, and she breaks it down, and that's the different aspects of whether or not he's really, quote unquote, a monster. Yeah. She accepted it. She knew that she accepted it, and says, You know, I knew I was a monster. Well, the sooner you accept it, the sooner you get over it. And that's the sooner that you deal. And I think everyone has a monster in them. Absolutely. And it's what you accept about it and deciding if you want to change. And this is the what?
Come on, preacher.
But this is what he's gripping with. Mm-hmm. And as he continues to trial and error his way through all these situations, he's starting to realize what a lot of the other characters, dead or alive, didn't. That there is always another way. It's just whether you want to accept that and go that way, or accept who you are and continue to do the things that you do at whatever cost.
Yeah, that's deep, man. That shit is deep. And I gotta say, the idea of the flashbacks in this episode were really, really good. Like, I don't think there's a way you can actually go into the show without having watched the original Power to fully understand the depth of which these characters, you know, the pain and the sadness and the hurt and the happiness that they're dealing with. You can't really understand that if you've not watched the original Power. And these flashbacks really brought that home in this episode, because that's something that they really haven't done that much of. But showing the screenshots of each person as they're talking about different themes, I thought that was very, very important. Like seeing Keisha, who, you know, unfortunately got killed by the hands of his mother. Does he even know that? Does he know that?
Yeah. They said that. Remember that when they were talking in the apartment.
Yes.
And she was like, "You got, you know, tell me the truth," and all of that.
That's right. So yeah, there's a lot of different like pieces. I don't think Tariq is a monster, and I know we'll get there, but when he does approach his new attorney, that, you know, he says, I don't want to be a monster. And, you know, she's like, I don't think you're a monster. Like, right. I don't think anyone truly believes that Tariq is a monster. I think they believe that his childhood was robbed from him by the decisions of his parents, and he had to find a way to move through that. And in doing that, made a really bad decision. Right. You know, I don't think that killing his father was the right decision, but, you know, I do believe he has to deal with the consequences of his actions there.
Oh yeah, 100%. I was just saying. I mean, we're building to that, but yeah, Tamika getting her as a lawyer, and I think her knowing the totality of the situation. That's why she's accepting, because she knows that he might have did something wrong, but he shouldn't be punished in the way that they're trying to punish him and in the way they're trying to railroad him. Because the way one of the things I loved about this episode, probably the biggest one, is how the reveal of Saxe and Maclean happened for everyone who did not know that they were working together. First you had Ott, who kept wondering why they were doing certain things that didn't just benefit the prosecution. Why were you compromising so much? And when he put the special agent, he put a what do you call it? Like a private eye on Saxe, found out that him and Maclean were working together, pulled out the pictures, and told Saxe straight up, you win this case, or else I don't want this working together. You need to win this case, and you need to take Maclean down. And that's where the Ben Crump line, the Ben Crump line was perfect, because he said, imagine, because he was like, why would I take Maclean down? He didn't do anything wrong. He said, wrong.
He also doesn't want Tariq taken down for this murder. That's one thing he made very clear. Right. Tasha has to be taken down as the queen pin.
That's the win they want.
That's when he raided the Benjamin Crump line, was really in reference to Tariq. You trying to bring down a young kid who is going to this prestigious institution. Benjamin Crump will have a field day with this shit. Like, you can't bring him down this way. Like, so you have to do what we're telling you to do. And I think that Saxe lost sight of that when he got that video recording of Tariq admitting, which was crazy that now Tariq is privy to what he did that night. You know, this whole time, Tariq hasn't really known the extent of what he did because he was drugged.
Right.
So now he's seeing that for the first time, like, oh shit, like what the, and now knowing that Saxe has that, and everything that they've been doing behind the scenes was essentially to set him up. I think that also gives Tamika the one up in knowing how to handle Saxe, because if anybody can get on Saxe, it's going to be her. She got the time.
She's got the time, and she's got the information. She has the information that Saxe was at Truth that night. She knows all of it. And Ott knows all he cares about is Tasha going down so that James St. Patrick's memory doesn't get sullied. And that's where the Ben Crump line came in, where he was like, yo, this is how you take Maclean down. An African-American lawyer working with a white prosecutor to take down a young black teen, a young black man who's in college trying to change his life. That's why he said this is like a fever dream for anybody who wants to take down racism in America. This is the biggest alley-oop ever, because now Maclean won't have a career. They'll get their win and everything will be straight, right? But that's kind of what Shane was talking about when we interviewed him, where he said, Saxe wants the truth.
Yep.
Truth by any means. And the truth is Tasha's not the queen pen and Tariq killed his dad. So if we want to get justice, the ultimate justice is for Ghost.
Yeah.
It is for Ghost. And the ultimate justice, in lieu of everything, for what happened, that they can prove. That is the justice that he's looking for. But that's not what the politics wants. You know what I mean?
That's not what he's going to be able to do. Like, we all know that the DNC they can get him replaced very easily. Like, we all know Saxe is dangling on a thread as much shit as he's done. Like, and to your point, you're absolutely correct. He will get the truth by any means necessary. So if that means he's got to record somebody when he knows he's not supposed to be, he's going to do it. Like, if he's going to send his niece into a situation that he's not supposed to be doing, he's going to do it. Like, Saxe has done so many illegal things to get the truth that it pollutes the truth. It dilutes it, essentially, to the point where now your truth doesn't even matter because you fucked it up so much. And that's what they've been trying to tell him all of these seasons. Like, my dude, you can't keep polluting the truth and expect it to come out and people believe what you're saying, because you've lied so much at this point.
So much.
Insane. So I love that he went for Tamika, and I love that Paula is the one that told him, like, listen, I don't fuck with Davis no more. His shit's crumbling. Like,
right.
This episode was really, if you're talking about reveals, it was very revealing for him, because he thought he had everything under control, and we saw within a 5-minute span, everything got knocked down. Right. Everything got knocked down for him.
And it got knocked down because he withheld the truth. Withholding the truth from people that you're working with comes back to bite you in this show.
Tasha's smart.
I loved the conversation that Paula and Tasha had.
Yes.
Because when he originally had that conversation with her, because he lied to Tariq, first off, because they both were lying to each other. It's like, I need the money for my grandmother, whatever. He said, well, we have a special witness. So, if you can't pay me this week, I can't use the witness. So he's like, nah, do that. I'll get the money somewhere else. Then tells Tasha, Tariq tells Tasha about it, the special witness, asks him, he says, Dr. Epiphany Turner, right? And she notices that hand grab when Paula was talking. Like, she noticed it. She was like, the hell is this? So when she calls Paula back to have that conversation, like, yo, Epiphany is a stripper. Like, he's not, No,
he didn't say Epiphany's name in that meeting with Tasha. He never said who it was.
Oh, he told Paula.
He said, do you trust me? And have I done anything wrong for you up to this point? And she said, no. He told Paula the name was Dr. Epiphany Turner, and Paula told Tasha in that meeting. And
You're
that's
right.
when
My bad.
Fucking stripper.
Yes.
Doctor?
Yes. So that's where it was revealed, because he lied about, well, he didn't lie about the witness. He lied about who the witness was.
And that's when Paula was like, wow, he's really been lying to me this whole time. And what I loved is that Tasha was able to speak to her from the scorned wife's side. Like, you are dealing with a married man. And at the end of the day, there's always somebody that he's going home to, and it's not you. He's got that ring on. It's not yours. Like, he has a whole ass wife. And I love that she spoke to her from that perspective, and her hurt from what her own husband did to her with what's her face, Angela. So, you know, I think Paula got a chance to really feel and understand the truth from a bunch of different angles, to the point where she was like, fuck this dude. Like, I don't need him. I don't need him.
Right. And she was also lying to herself, because she was having an affair with Davis, knowing that he was married, and thought that she could just do what she does, he does what he does, and she can live her life without ever conflating the two, because she thought that they were a team. And part of that teamwork is, if we're doing this surreptitious, sneaky, behind your wife's back shit, you need to be telling me everything that's going on, because we already have a bond, honor amongst thieves, in a sense. So you need to honor that bond, in which she was lying to herself, because if he's lying to his wife, why wouldn't he lie to you?
Why wouldn't he lie to you? And that's why he said to her, he said, you know who I am. And she was like, you're right, I do know who you are. And that's why I'm done with this shit. Like, there's no reason for her to stay. Like, I think part of her believed that he would leave his wife, which a lot of these women who sleep with married men, they truly do believe that eventually these men will leave their wife for them. But it's like, if he's done this to his wife, what makes you think he's not going to do this to you as well? Right. Like, really have to think about that when you're making these decisions. Like, it doesn't make you immune to who this person is. Mm-hmm. So Davis is going to be who Davis is. And through him being that person, he's watching everything he's built crumble. Like she said, if you would have brought this to me, I would have told you not to fuck with Saxe. He's a snake, and he's not out for no one. Like, he only cares about himself. And so you dealing with him, you put yourself in a precarious situation. And now look where we at. Look.
Yeah. Yeah, we're here now, and we're here where Paula, who probably had Tariq's best interest at heart way more than Maclean, is the one that shows him the video and says there, and is the one who confirms that Maclean and Saxe have been working together, trying to set you up. You need to get a lawyer. You need to get a lawyer. And the other way Tariq finds out is through Dr. Epiphany Turner. And let me tell you, Epiphany, she's the MVP of this episode for me. Epiphany is the MVP. Like, I love it. Like, she's so real. And it just came so effortless, where all of it was just like the lines, the one-liners, like how she came in. It's almost as if you're watching an actor who's a fan, who's an actor acting in the scene as if the fans would act, and acting as if they would act. Because, you know, I love the scene when Maclean and Saxe first roll in, and she thinks, y'all some fine ass cops. You some fine ass cops. And Saxe goes, well, thank you, but you tried it.
You tried it.
He's like, she's talking about me.
Her overall appearance to me is great. Like, I just feel like she just makes the show in the moment that she's in it. Even when, you know, she's talking about her son, she's like, yeah, he got a Lunchable in one hand and a party flyer in the other because he with his daddy. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Like, yeah, all right, girl. I love her character. And I do love that in that moment, Tariq made the decision he felt was the right one. I don't believe that Epiphany necessarily wanted to take that stand. I do believe that she just doesn't want to go to jail. So you give her the money, and she gave herself an out, not even realizing that he was coming to kill her. She got herself out of it, not even knowing the situation. She was like, I wish I could just run. And Tariq looked at his bag like, yo, the fuck, I got the money for you to do that. Let's do it. Like, it's like he didn't have to do anything bad. But then I look at all the times that Ghost kind of made those same situations and how it ended for him, and it never went well. Yeah,
and the cool thing about Epiphany, right? Epiphany, she's one of the realest characters on the show because she doesn't lie. All she does is tell the truth, and she tells it bluntly, and she just says what it is. So even when Saxe comes in and he's like, yo, we're not cops, we're lawyers, we're working this. He's like, oh, Tasha's case, whatever. She's like, yo, we can help you out with your case. And you know, she even says that ass clapping don't come for free. What do I got to do? What do you want me to do? And she's apprehensive at first, and she asks, is this going to help Tasha?
Yeah, that's what
Are we helping Tasha? And he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. And then she goes, all right. You know, and even when she's talking, and even when she's talking to Tariq, and she tells Tariq the truth without even knowing because he thinks that he knows. So he's like, yo.
And that's the crazy part about it. But they didn't lie to her. What she's saying will help Tasha.
But it will hurt Tariq.
Up. Like, they didn't lie to her. They just didn't tell her the whole truth.
But so she knew. She knew.
Yeah.
And I think that's why, even when she talked to Tariq and said, yeah, because remember, Tasha sent that message through Paula to take care of Epiphany. And this is where he was gripping with himself. And he had the gun, like, yo, I'm going to do what I got to do, whatever. And when he talks to her and she tells him, like, yo, your fine ass lawyer came. Why didn't you tell me your lawyer was so fine? I would have got my other wig, whatever. And he's like, my lawyer? It's like, yeah, him and a tall white boy, blah, blah, blah. And then she's telling him, and the line that she says, where I think this is where Tariq made that decision that I want to be who I want to be, and I don't want to just do what we do in these situations. Is when she when she did say, if I had the money, I would just run. But she even said, you know, I wanna help Tasha, but something about this doesn't feel right. I'm not really like that. I don't wanna, but I wanna get off. I wanna be here for my son. I wanna get off. She's literally going through the progression of what she wants to do in front of him.
A bad person, like and I think that's what it was for Tariq. He realized that she wasn't out to take his mom out. She wasn't trying to take his mom out. She really was just like, she was speaking the truth through her words. I feel like the reason he didn't kill her is because he knows deep down she's not a bad person.
Right, and she gave him an out. She gave him an out by he granted her wish. He literally granted her wish because she said, I just want to get off. I want to be here for my, like, I don't want to go to jail. I would just, she made it seem like, okay, this is my only decision, but if I had another option, I would do it. So once he heard that, he put his mom and Epiphany's life, Tariq did, over his own, because he gave her Monet's money to run. To get out the city, whatever, and go. Gave him Monet's money, which is why when he goes to the bar before they Rico attempted the hit, he knew what it was. So for him, choosing to be something other than a monster was going to be at the cost of his life, and he made amends with that. Like he made his peace, right? He made his peace, and that's how he was gonna move, and that's also how Saxe and Maclean, now their partnership is off because Saxe
off. That shit's seven.
Right. Because Saxe thinks that Maclean set him up with Epiphany. Maclean doesn't know. Maclean knows Paula went. Maclean knows what Saxe tells him that Paula went. So then he's figuring that out. And then Saxe also has the pictures that he's using to blackmail him to say, yeah, it's not illegal, but it's unethical what you were doing. So now I'm going to take Tasha down. I'm going to take you down, and now I'm going to take Tariq down because that's why he was going to call Tariq to stand. I don't know if that was always the plan, but I don't think that was something they want. They might have eventually got to that point, but now I think Saxe wants to blow the whole thing up.
He has to. I think in a way, you know, and like we always say, at the very bottom of it, Saxe just wants the truth. So no matter how he has to go about getting that shit, he gonna do it. So, I mean, him putting Tariq on the stand, I wasn't sure who he was gonna call, but I had a feeling that's who it was. But I will say, the preview for next week, that scene with Tariq sitting on the stand was very ghost-like. That smirk that he gave when he sat down in that seat, I was like, damn, that reminds me of Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love where it's going. Like I feel like we're being set up for the trial of the century in a way. Like we don't know what's coming, how it's going to come out. But I do know that the scene with Davis and Maclean, the same person, Davis and Saxe in that room. I can't remember exactly what Davis said, but when he said something about nefarious motherfucker, like what did he call him? That shit had me dying. I was like,
yeah.
Method man at all times. Like it was good. But I'm happy that they're no longer working together, only because, like I told you from the beginning, this was never going to work.
Right.
It was never going to work because these are two people who are out for self, and eventually it's going to come right back to that.
Those worlds were going to collide. Those worlds was going to collide, and we knew it. We knew it. I didn't know it was going to happen in that way. So in that, I was very shocked. And shout out to Brandy Denise Boyd. That's the actress who plays Epiphany. I hope her character, we see her character again, and she stays around or comes back next season, because I really enjoy her character. Like her character makes me laugh every time that she's on. And I think she was a good character to help Tariq make the decisions that he was making. So now we have.
She's also like the girl in the classroom, if you think about it.
Light Skin Keisha?
Yeah, she's very much that same way too, telling the truth, even though it doesn't come out in necessarily the cleanest of ways. That bitch be telling the truth too.
Yeah,
so,
I loved her and her mom from last week when he was coming out. Like, yeah, my baby got answers too. My baby got answers too. All right.
So my mom, like, chill, girl, chill.
Like, no, we're not chilling. You give the answers. How much you know we work hard to get you here. So you know what I mean? But now we have the setup. We have the setup to the season finale. We have Tariq is going to be on the stand. Tamika's representing him. So how they get out of this?
And he wants to tell the truth. Let's not forget.
Oh, yes. The biggest twist. He wants to confess. Yeah. He wants to confess. So we don't know how that's going to go. I actually have a theory. Oh. I have a theory that Tariq is going to say that he saw Saxe at Truth the night his dad died.
Yeah.
And we're going to blow this whole thing out the water.
Let's blow it up.
We're going to detonate. I think that's the one, or he's going to allude to it, and we go from there.
I doesn't know that, right? I does not know. Yeah.
I don't care at this point. I wouldn't even be surprised if Saxe's job is still in jeopardy after this.
Yeah.
You know, but his objective is to keep James St. Patrick's name clean, however they can do it, because there's still a governor's race. Like Tate is still campaigning.
It's crazy.
Which is nuts to think about, but they're still going through that governor's race. So he kind of needs that not to come out so that they can win the New York governor race. So there's a lot of things going on in the background, but I'm actually very excited for the season finale. I like the season so far. I'm hoping they can close it out strong and all of that. So yeah,
it's gonna be good, man. Like I have been saying, there's so many moving pieces in this show, but with every episode, they are leaving no crumbs behind. Like there's nothing that they are not giving us either the next piece to or just solving as we're moving through these episodes. So this season has been great. And I even posted on Twitter, like, if you're not watching this, like you're missing out on some really good TV. Like it's good. Like I am intrigued. I'm excited. And like this finale, just based on the preview and that smirk that Tariq gave on that stand, tells me that it's going to be not the confession that we think.
Right.
I don't think.
100%. So we getting ready for that for sure. Also, news coming out of Power. Saw this yesterday. So Raising Kanan, Power Book 3, is going to be summer 2021.
Yes.
So I don't know if it's June, I don't know if it's July, I don't know if it's August.
They can't hit us with a month. They're not going to tell us when. We'll find out in May.
So Raising Kanan, the prequel to really the Power prequel.
Yep.
To show the life and times of Kanan Stark. It's coming out summer of 2021. So if the cadence remains the same, given COVID protocols and everything, Power Book 2 and Raising Kanan, there's, depending on how early in the summer Kanan is, they could be running at the same time or run back to back.
Yeah.
And I think they're starting development. I believe they're starting development on book 4, Force, which is supposed to be Tate's book.
Okay. I think that's the one I'm the least excited for.
How to Get Away with Power.
I feel like that's the one I'm least excited for. I really, I don't know. I'm ready for Tommy's.
I think everybody is.
That's the one that I'm like ready for. Like, please give me some Tommy, because especially with them bringing him up in this season of book 2.
Oh, I'm bugging. You know what is crazy? I was thinking about that. My bad. I bugged out.
Oh.
Force is Tommy's.
Oh, thank God.
Book 4, I feel like they switched the numerals.
Did they? Fix your face. I
feel like they switched the numerals because I thought that influence was before Force. That's how they, you know what? I don't know if they put the book numbers. I was right. So I knew I was right. So this is from TV Line. I just pulled this up from TV Line. Not even Stars is immune to Tommy Egan's powers of persuasion. Though the Power sequel focusing on Ghost's former partner in crime originally was slated to be the last spin-off released, the Tommy-centric series has been moved up in the order, the cable network announced Monday. So this was Monday. Where the hell were we? This was in August. Wow. I did not know that.
It would be around the time.
Yeah. Originally titled Power Book 5 Force, the show now will be called Power Book 4 Force and will debut after Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, a prequel, Raising Kanan, blah, blah, blah. We just said that. The sequel Influence will now premiere after Force and has been renamed Power Book 5. That series will follow Power politician Rashad Tate as he continues his cutthroat quest for power. So, yes. So
doesn't fit in. He couldn't fit in at 4. You got it, because for me, I mean,
it would. It's still
with them bringing up Tommy's name in the court. You kind of have to follow that storyline, and then if you're going to bring in Raising Kanan, you're taking it back to the past. You're not present in the past. Tommy was there. Am I correct?
Yeah, Tommy was there, but it's a prequel.
It's better to have Tommy there than it does to have him there.
I mean, they could have made it. They could have made it work. But I think for us, it flows better because this was the most anticipated book out of the 5, including book 2. So Kanan is the only book that does not run in the current continuity. Okay. So really, they literally could drop that whenever, and it would still hit, because I don't know if there's anything that can influence. Well, I'll say they could introduce a character in Raising Kanan that we've never seen in Power, but may still be around.
Facts. And
that shows up in book 2. And that's how they make a connection. That's the best way to connect a prequel to a sequel or a current time. It's kind of like, ironically, it's kind of like what they did with Spartacus. So when Andy, I forgot the brother's name, the first Spartacus that passed away from cancer, Andy Whitfield, the first Spartacus, when he passed away, they did a prequel season of Spartacus and had all these characters that weren't in the main Spartacus. Then when they got back and they got the new actor that played Spartacus, they brought those characters from the prequel into the current time. So that's something that they could do with Kanan. But Yeah, we were gone for that time also. So that's the thing. We haven't really spoken about Force and all of that yet. But yes.
Thank God, I'm so ready for Tommy. Like
yes.
I've been waiting on Tommy's show since that nigga drove off in his car at the end of Power, because he left so, like, there was a lot that was on the table when he left.
That was my ending. That was my ending of Power. Like, if this was a video game,
so good.
That would have been the ending I wanted to get.
They should have left it right there. I was okay with it right there. But I think we got like 3 episodes after that, and we were like, the fuck is going on?
Right. Well, we said it. We said it when they did it. Those final 5 episodes were there to set up the other 5 books.
Yeah.
The other 4 books, the sequels. That's what those 5 episodes were. I personally think, ambitiously, they could have made it 2.
Yep.
They could have made it 2. I think the Tommy episode could have been what it was. To me, the Tommy episode could have been how they ended it.
Should have been.
And then they show like Rashad coming out of the church, out of the eulogy for Ghost, out of the memorial service, and then him announcing his governorship, and then Paz looking for Tommy, and then Tommy killing Spank, and then hitting the road. Like, to me, that was the GOAT Power ending. But I think it's great that we're getting Force. I think that was the smartest move they could have done. And yeah.
And we got 2-Bit. We got 2-Bit still learning out there. Let's not forget.
Right. But he's still involved in Ghost, but I could see him maybe moving to LA and linking up with Tommy. Yeah. That would be cool. But yeah, they have to expand that, because building up what he's doing in LA, there'll always be an opportunity for him to come back to New York or to make that happen. So that is great news. We're getting Raising Kanan in the summer of 2021, and Force they said coming soon. So I think
he's been in. If he doesn't live in New York, he's been in New York a lot lately. Right, so I would not be surprised if they're not filming something.
If I had to guess, right, I would say they're probably gonna drop this first season of Raising Kanan, then book 2 Ghost, then Force season 1. That's what I would think, and then go on that rotation.
For 6 more years. Thank you. Have a good night.
You are a trip.
Where's the lie?
Trip.
Because we're not going nowhere. We gotta discuss Tommy. Like, that's got to be done.
You see how she keeps dragging me back in?
Guys, come on. If I don't do it, the people on Twitter will.
Yes, that's 100% true, because y'all don't let us rest. But I love it though. I love it.
We do love it.
So,
thank you, guys.
I think that's it. I think that's all it for us. Shout out to everybody who commented on the giveaway. Those who won, you will be reached out to individually, and congrats. Thank you for everybody who participated. You got anything else for this episode, Krissy?
Nah, man. Wishing you guys a happy new year. By the time we discuss next time, we will be in 2021. 2020 has been complete trash. And I'm hoping that 2021 brings us even more happiness, good health, and blessings, man, because I am over this year. So yeah, when we see you guys next, it'll be next year.
Yes, and please make it. Above all else, Hey. I don't care about your goals. I don't care about your resolutions. I don't care about new year, new me. Let's let 2021 breathe and just get there. Just get there. So, Miss birthday girl herself. You know what I'm saying? Young polka dot. I see you.
Wow.
I'm not dissing you. I'm hyping you up.
Crazy is when I put this on, I knew you was gonna say some shit.
I love it.
The dots.
I love it. It's the dots for me.
Chef does love me.
Only for a day.
Asshole.
I hope you enjoyed your birthday.
I did. I had a good, relaxing birthday. I didn't turn up on nobody. We are in the times of COVID. We chill out in this house.
Oh, you in Atlanta? Y'all be chilling in Atlanta?
We don't go to parties and on rooftops and wear masks and then pull them down.
Ma'am, you are in the Atlanta metro area. I'm surprised y'all did not go to Compound and go swim in the pool.
You forget who my husband is, dog. You ain't going to no club.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason you ain't going, because
Nah, for real, I ain't going to no club. Not during COVID. Y'all ain't gonna catch me out. Y'all have fun at Compound with the pools and shit. That ain't my scene.
Yo, see Krissy's close friend story, smoking hookah and shit.
Y'all passing the hookah like we don't got a whole ass pandemic. What y'all doing?
Man, yo, just make it to 2021, y'all. Just make it. Just make it to 2021. That's it for us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We are on YouTube, Power After Hours on YouTube. I'd love for everybody who subscribed to this, go on and subscribe on our YouTube channel too. We're going to have exclusive content that we don't put on the podcast here, along with watching us react to the things that we say every week on the pod. So I'd love for y'all to subscribe. Let's build this up, being the best power podcast on the planet. Want to be able to show that and build up our content that way. So please do that. We are on Twitter, Power After Hours, where we keep the conversation going about the episodes, and we're on Instagram too. Same at Power After Hours. Krissy, where can they find you?
You can find me at Krissy Bree wherever you search online. What about you, Jeff?
I am at Jeff J Says on all social media. You can find this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, literally wherever you listen to podcasts, subscribe. And you could also go to nonstopculture.com/power to listen to every episode ever of this series. And for any type of way that you want to subscribe to the show, that nonstopculture.com/power has everything that you need. Power After Hours pod at Gmail. If you ever have any questions or comments or reactions to what you see, we got you. So yes, we are out of here. Talk to you next week. Season finale time. We are out.
Peace.
Talk to you.
I want you to sing it with me. They say this is a big rich town. Yeah. I just come from the poorest part. Right, nice city, I gotta make it. This is where it goes.